Exclusive games are the name of the game, so to speak. Honestly, it's probably one of the first things that people notice when it comes to the video game consoles of their choice or what have you. A lot of people just, will look at the consoles and, you go to a store or whatever, you see a section for PlayStation, see a section for, Xbox, and you start to notice, the games that are the same, and then the games that aren't the same, and again, I go back to the other day when Sony did their showcase. Big name stuff is very attractive to people. People hear about things like Final Fantasy. That's a common game. It's a big game. Spider-Man, again, big game. You also have stuff, Wolverine, big game. Like, these are titles that draw people into an ecosystem, and if you look at the two Spider-Man games that Insomniac has made, almost 30 million copies sold between those two games, and they're very high rated games, so you have that trust there. And obviously Wolverine will probably be a completely different type of game. Something tells me it's going to be a more narrative, linear type of game, just due to the character. I mean, it can't be open world because he walks around everywhere, so it's probably going to be more linear and a completely different style of game than Spider-Man, which I think is perfectly fine. It needs to be that. It needs to be different. It needs to be something special. And with that being said, Microsoft, I got to be honest. When I originally bought an Xbox, this big old box, that comes with a warning and tells you not to drop it on yourself. The main reason was they were putting out things that the other consoles weren't. Like, I was very impressed with Halo, CE. Obviously, KOTOR 2, a game like Chronicles of Riddick, really kind of Escape from Butcher Bay blew me away. It was just really a fantastic game. There was just so much going on, and they had some really great exclusive games at that time. And even now, you look at things and you go, what could have been if Microsoft would have just went through with some of these things. And the fact that they didn't is really kind of sad when you think about it. And I want to get into that because they keep losing even more exclusives, and I want to kind of talk about this. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like the video. That's all I ask. If you're new to the channel, maybe share, friend, or whatever. So again, you guys might know, like, back in the day, Alan Wake was a game that I bought instead of Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox 360. That's where my $60 went. And now Remedy has finally announced that they're going to release Alan Wake on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Now, the interesting thing here, and this game looks good, it's definitely a day one buy for me. The interesting thing for me personally about this is the fact that, so many people were quick to kind of cast aside Alan Wake as not being something, but it's one of the best narrative, story-driven games I've ever played, and the atmosphere is something completely different. It's really going to be at home on PlayStation. So they said, we're thrilled to announce that Alan Wake Remastered is being released on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, giving you the chance to finally take part in Alan Wake's journey into the night of October 5th. Alan Wake Remastered is the graphically enhanced version of the original game, released in 2010. Now we are bringing you the complete Alan Wake experience, including the two expansions, The Signal and Rider, released as DLCs, with all new 4K visuals, updated environments, cutscenes, and a brand new making of commentary where you take a trip down memory lane. So this was one of my favorite games. The game actually I thought did pretty good on Xbox 360 at first, but then, they came out with American Nightmare, which was like a little standalone thing, and then nothing else. Like, rumor has it, now this is just rumor and maybe some of my opinion, rumor has it that Phil Spencer isn't a fan of Alan Wake, and so that's why they never greenlit it. Microsoft actually had the rights to Alan Wake. They did. They owned the rights to Alan Wake. To publish it and stuff like that, and Microsoft gave up the rights, right? So think about this. All this time, Remedy has been wanting to make an Alan Wake 2, and now they are, with Epic Games funding it or whatever, and it'll be a multi-plat. And, so the interesting part about this is that, we've been without games on Xbox, like a AAA game, for 2 years. Like, they released Control, which that could have easily been Quantum Break 2. Like, I don't understand the thought process behind Microsoft. They could have had a Sunset Overdrive 2. They could have had an Alan Wake 2. They could have had a Quantum Break 2. These games could have been out during this drought if they would have just kind of paid attention. And now a game that is kind of a cult classic for Xbox is going to, is going to PlayStation. And that's not the only game that's going to PlayStation as well. There's other games, including, and I kind of touched on this in another video, but MechWarrior 5 is going to, is going to PlayStation as well. Returns to Sony's consoles for the first time in over 20 years. Piranha Games is bringing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries to Sony's console. The studio will release the game and its Heroes of the Inner Sphere expansion to PlayStation 4 and PS5 on September 23rd. It announced the other week. The release makes a significant milestone for the franchise. The last time you could play a BattleTech game on PlayStation console was back in 1997, when Activision released MechWarrior 2 Arcade Combat Edition on PS1. In addition to a handful of PlayStation-specific features, including support for adaptive triggers on the DualSense controller, the PS4 and PS5 release will feature all of the previously released enhancements from the game. So you'll be able to play the game with people on other platforms as well, since it's cross-platform, and check out DLC campaign if you join a co-op match hosted by someone who owns the expansion. So there is some cool stuff going on there. Again, really nice to see that. And you keep seeing obviously these games that are kind of synonymous with Xbox, and KOTOR being the other thing, right? Everybody, like, KOTOR is a top 3, top 4 game for me. Hopefully Aspyr does a really good job with it. Obviously, Sony kind of putting in money on this means a lot. They have a lot of trust. They have a lot of faith in what they're doing, and I think that makes a ton of sense to go ahead and kind of get that out there and to give people something that they really want to play. And what's interesting is Sony is funding it and publishing it. It looks like it's coming to console and then maybe PC later. Maybe it'll come to Xbox at some point, I don't know, but it is a huge get for Sony, at least, especially at first, because again, this is a game that's synonymous with Xbox, and we keep seeing that it is one of those things where they kind of get this kind of weird aspect of exclusivity and stuff like that. And this is a big game. Like, even out of like the Wolverines and the Spider-Man 2s, I saw the most complaining on social media over the fact that this game is coming to PlayStation exclusively, at least even at first. People are like, why can't Microsoft lock down stuff like this? Like, the amount of jealousy and things like that was very much a weird thing to see and witness, because again, Microsoft has this unlimited amount of money, it seems, and yet can never really lock down these awesome games that people actually want to play. So yeah, it is very, very strange, and it does seem like Microsoft focuses on these small games that probably don't cost much to invest in, and they get them, these timed exclusives for a little bit. But at the end of the day, people aren't really interested. Like, I mean, honestly, like I said before on a different video, like KOTOR, that's a huge game, or The Ascent. It's an easy choice. It just really is. Microsoft should do a much better job. But anyway, what do you guys think? I mean, they got all this money in the world. Should they actually try to lock down some bigger games? Should Sony lock down games like this? Do you think it's fair? I really do think that it's pro business. It's your business. They're trying to get the most out of their business and sell the most consoles and all that kind of stuff. And I think that makes the most sense. You got to be able to do that. You got to do that at some point. So hopefully people kind of understand exactly how they kind of want to do it. So yeah, very interesting to say the least, and I think you guys are probably pretty excited by what's going on. Exclusives, I think, define consoles to this day. It really just kind of happens to be one of the things that draws people into a console, right away. I mean, there's obviously other things. It's like people will bring up third-party stuff, and I think third-party is important. But if you can play a ton of exclusives and all the third-party stuff on one platform versus 99% just third-party stuff, I think people are going to pick the platform where you can get both because it makes the most sense, and that's actually what's been happening with Sony and the PlayStation brand, as it were. With that being said, thank you guys so much. If you enjoy the content, consider liking it. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Crap Gamer out.